Welcome to another instalment of my Idiot's Guide to Red Dead Redemption 2. This video is aimed at new players and will teach you all about how to maintain your health, stamina and Deadeye cores. I've watched a few playthroughs now of the game and I've noticed a lot of new players struggle to understand the concept of the cores and end up blaming the game for dying or not being able to last long in a fight. They either damage themselves or, after dying, fail to realise that they have to heal themselves. So when they next run into trouble with the local O'Driscoll, they can't understand why they didn't last long. The developers probably realise this because in the first few missions the fights are scripted and they make it harder for Arthur to die. In fact, in these missions I struggled to kill Arthur purposely, even when really low health. You can tell if he's low health even without looking at his health score because he walks with his shoulders hunched and looks definitely sorry for himself.
Speak! Don't cry, boy, speak!
In this early mission with Kieran, as you can see, I do my best to kill Arthur, but because of the other gang members killing off the O'Driscolls at a fast rate, it's nearly impossible to die. I do eventually manage it though by standing right in front of a shooter and letting him kill me. With that being said, what does the game say about each of the cores? The help section does give you some tips about your health, stamina and Deadeye cores. I'll read this, but then I'll also explain it after because I think it's still a little confusing. So it says, your health, stamina and Deadeye cores drain over time. If your health or stamina cores are low, the corresponding bar for each attribute will refill at a slower rate. Cores can be fortified to stop them draining for a short period of time. To refill a core, you must consume an appropriate provision. Your health core will drain quickly if you are exposed to conditions such as extreme temperatures or are poisoned by a snake. Your stamina core will affect the speed at which you run and the energy you have to swim, carry corpses and carcasses or mantle obstacles. Cores also act as an extension of their related attribute bar. If a bar is emptied while using an ability, then the core will begin to drain rapidly, allowing you to use the ability for a few additional seconds. Keep your cores full to guarantee the maximum amount of reserve energy is available should you need it. So what does that all mean? When we say health, stamina or Deadeye core, we're actually talking about the centre of each of them. By this I mean the heart for the health, the lightning bolt for the stamina and the X for the Deadeye. The outer ring is actually how much of that resource you have left. Maintaining the inner core, either white or yellow, will enable the outer bar to replenish at a faster rate. Your overall health, stamina and Deadeye is low at the start of the game, but the more you interact with the world, the higher it will get. Let's take a look at the player help page in the menu section. As you can see here, you can check up on Arthur's details and his main horse. Clicking on General will give you a general overview of Arthur's attributes. You can see if there's anything affecting him like cold weather, being poisoned or whether he's just not feeling well. Remember, this game is realistic, so he can lose weight or gain it depending on how much food you give him. You can also see what general perks you've picked up along the way, such as trinkets. Hitting the back button now, we will take a look at the separate tabs for health, stamina and Deadeye. This is where you can see what the outer bar of each attribute I was talking about actually means. When you first start out in the game, your health will look something like this. The outer bar is much easier to see here and your max health is only low. You can reach up to 8 bars naturally as you progress the game. In order to get up to 10 bars, and this applies to stamina and Deadeye too, you will need to totally complete all the challenges, and the weapon equipment you buy from the trapper will then increase each attribute by 1 bar depending on the challenge completed. So this means you need to keep the inner core a nice healthy white or yellow so that the outer bar does not deplete. I will go on to explain what provisions you need for each core in a moment. First, I want to mention that you need to also look after your horse too. Driving your horse too fast for a long time will deplete its stamina and it will eventually buck you off. You can clearly see the horse's stamina here with an exclamation mark warning you what is about to happen if you don't slow down or stop tapping that X button like crazy. Let's see what happens to my Arthur when I push him too hard. If this happens to you, don't say I never told you so.
Shit!
Look at the horse cores now. If you drive your horse too fast or don't feed it, it could eventually end up dying during a gunfight because NPCs shoot the horses too. So give your horse some love from time to time. It really does deserve it. So, moving on to maintaining your cores. One way to get a yellow core is to donate certain types of meat to Pearson for his stews. Only do it when you know the pot is available. You can get the meat from killing animals or buying it from a butcher. Only good quality meat like venison, pork, beef or big game meat will work. Incidentally, you also get rewarded with a full yellow stamina core just for sleeping at the camp instead of out in the wilderness. The best food you can create though for Arthur to stow in your bag are the big game meat recipes. Big game meat can only be obtained from killing cougars, wolves, alligators or bears. They are then cooked at a campfire with either mint, oregano and thyme herbs that you can find out in the wilderness. Big game meat is the only meat you can mix with these herbs to give you the yellow cores. The mint gives you a full yellow core, the oregano one gives you a full stamina core, and the thyme one gives you a full deadeye core. Cooking plain meat is always a good idea too. It doesn't give you a yellow core, but it does restore all your cores to white. Be sure to read the recipe though, as all meat is not the same quality. The items you pick up during looting, like cans and alcohol, all have different properties which have different effects on Arthur. So make sure you read the labels correctly. For example, Kentucky bourbon is great for Deadeye, but depletes your stamina core quickly. Cigars, cigarettes and premium cigarettes might look cool, but they're best left for role-playing. So let's move on to tonics now. Tonics and chewing tobaccos are used to fortify your outer bar of each of your attributes. Miracle Tonic or Potent Miracle Tonics restore and fortify the outer bar of all three health, stamina and Deadeye. If you're going for a gold medal on a mission, you will need to avoid using these because they count as a health item. The same goes for Moonshine or a health cure. They will, however, fill your outer bar to protect your health core. For Deadeye, you can use something like chewing tobacco or snake oil. Bear in mind that chewing tobacco, which can be looted freely, doesn't last as long and actually damages your Deadeye core. So the best ones to use are snake oil or potent snake oil. You can even get special snake oil as well. Using any type of Deadeye tonics will not be classed as a health item for a gold medal. So to show you all this in a mission, remember that if your cores are yellow or at least white, the outer bar will last longer, making shootouts like this a breeze. It's important to note here that draining the inner core of your Deadeye until it's red will make accuracy harder even with a fortified tonic when you go into Deadeye. The trick to stop that happening is to take a tonic before the outer bar depletes. This works for health, stamina and Deadeye. I will let some of this scene play out now. Watch as I take a Deadeye tonic before the bar depletes. This stops the inner core from draining at all, so it stays yellow and restores the outer bar. If you have any questions about maintaining your cores or Deadeye or any other aspect of the game, feel free to ask them in the comments section. If this guide has been helpful to you, I would appreciate you letting me know too. Many thanks for watching. If you find this or any of my other guides in this series helpful, please consider subscribing and clicking on the bell to receive updates on when I next upload.